Hello, welcome back in my new video. Friends, we are going to continue the basic accounting terms of accounting. It is very important. Now, today's first basic concept is receipt. Receipt means the amount which we receive. It is of two kinds. Actually, it is of two types. That one is capital receipt and revenue receipt. Both are different. We have studied regarding current and non-current. You remember that? Whether it is liability or asset. You remember that? The current means which we are having in within 1 year, and non-current is beyond 1 year. Okay. Same way, here also we can divide it into two parts: capital and revenue receipt. Capital receipt is non-recurring in nature. Generally, it is not of recurring nature. Okay. It is the amount received from the sale of fixed assets, introduction of the capital, and borrowing of loan, etc. Generally, if you see the things, we are not going to sell fixed assets each and every day. Generally, we sell it when it is out of use, or it is having we have modified the technology. At that time, we sell the assets or due to scrap. Capital is once introduced, again can be introduced, but not every time. So it is also not recurring in nature. Borrowing of loan is also not possible every time, so it is not recurring in nature. So can we say like that? Capital is a non-recurring in nature. It is not recurring. Recurring means again and again. Okay. It is shown in balance sheet either as increase in liability or reduction in assets. When we sell the asset, it is going to be reduced, and when we introduce capital, liability is going to increase because business has to pay to the owner, and when we are borrowing the loan, we have to pay the outside person, and that's why liability will increase. Liability means the amount which we have to pay to the outsiders or the owner. Okay. Now, revenue receipt. It is recurring in nature. Generally, we buy goods for sell purpose and we sell on regular basis. So the amount received from that sale is a revenue receipt. Okay, we talk about it. It is the amount received from sale of goods and services. It includes commission for services, interest and dividend on investment. It is recurring in nature. When we sell goods, goods means the item which we purchase for regular sell. Okay, and services. Dividend is the amount, means share in profit. We invest in other companies to get some profit, and when company have the profit, it declares dividend. That dividend is our profit. Is also a recurring because every year we are going to have a visit. Okay, so it will be treated as a revenue receipt. Is it okay? Now we move to second one is expenditure. Any disbursement of cash or for transfer of property or for purchase of goods and services is known as expenditure. Actually, when we purchase assets or we purchase asset on credit, it is our expenditure. Okay, so it is just not matter whether it is cash or not in cash. We are going to say that any purchase of property or purchase of goods and services, that is our expenditure. Okay, capital expenditure, there are three types: capital expenditure, revenue expenditure, deferred revenue expenditure. First one is capital expenditure. In this expenditure, we receive benefit for a long period of time. It actually enables the businessman to earn or to maintain the profitability of the business. Okay, so capital expenditure is a main expenditure in which large amount of the capital is invested. Okay, so we are going to see to it. Expenditure incurred on purchase of fixed asset is termed as capital expenditure. It also includes construction of building, pavilions, etc., 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 which gives us the more benefit, upgradation in our assets. Okay, so it is a large scale expenditure. It is shown in the asset side of the balance sheet as its benefit is received for a longer period of time. A large period we are going to receive the benefit of machines, building, and the other assets. Okay. Now, next one is revenue expenditure. Any expenditure whose benefit is received in 1 year is a revenue expenditure. Like when we purchase stock, we sell out or we try to sell those stocks in 1 year, and that benefit is going to be received in that year only. Okay. As all the stock is not sellable, but that is a repeating in nature. Previous year's stock will be counted in this year, and this year's closing stock will be counted in the next year. Okay, so cost of goods sold is a revenue expenditure. Okay, revenue expenditure. They are generally shown in trading and profit and loss account on the debit side, because we are going to learn the rules and regulations of nature of accounts. In that you will come to know why we are debiting these expenditures in trading profit and loss account, because there is a rule for that one. Okay, such expenditures help in maintaining earning capacity. Just they help us to maintain the earning capacity, but they are not going to increase. Okay, they are not going to support to increase the profit in the year. Who is going to increase? The capital expenditure is going to boost or help us to earn profit. Okay, this is must be used. You should remember this point because this is important. It is just going to maintain earning capacity and not going to increase it. Okay. Next one is deferred revenue expenditure. These are large scale revenue expenditures whose benefit is going to be received in more than 1 year. That means what? It is a revenue expenditure. It is incurred for what? It is incurred for the benefit which we are going to receive in this year, but it is not depend on just 1 year. We are going to receive it from 3 to 7 years. Okay, and that's why it is deferred revenue expenditure. It is not going to give us any asset, which we are going to use for the increasing the profit. No, it is just going to help us to maintain the profitability, but its benefit is going to be received in 3 to 7 years. Here we are going to receive only for 1 year. Okay, this is the difference between the both. These expenditures are written off equally in the year of benefit and transferred to profit and loss. Okay, suppose I am going to receive the benefit for 3 years and the total expenditure, suppose it is 3 lakh, then I am going to divide it in 3 portions. That means 1 lakh each for every year, which will be transferred to profit and loss account, and the remaining balance amount which is not written off will be shown in the asset side of the balance sheet. That means out of 3 lakh, 1 lakh will be transferred to profit and loss account, and remaining 2 lakh will be shown in the asset side of the balance sheet. For example, advertisement. Advertisement, you know very well. Nowadays, every company is spending more amount on the advertisement, and you are going to see those advertisements year after year because that will give them benefit. Okay, so it is very important to know this term, and we have already talked about fictitious asset. Okay, so there is a link between deferred revenue expenditure is a part of fictitious asset. Okay, you should remember this. This is an important point. That deferred revenue expenditure is a part of fictitious asset. Fictitious asset is not the part of deferred revenue expenditure. That should be remembered. Okay, now we move to the next term is expenses. The cost incurred in producing and selling of goods and services. There is a difference. Expenditure in that we are going to purchase goods and services, and now here we are going to produce and sell it. That is a difference. Okay, purchasing goods and services is entirely different than production. Okay, please remember that. It includes cost of goods sold, rent, commission, and depreciation, etc. There are so many expenses which we are going to see. Okay, so Please remember the difference. There is lots of difference between expenses and expenditure, but sometimes it seems like that both are same, but there is a difference. Please take it seriously. Now next one is income. Income means revenue minus expenses. Revenue we have already talked about. Revenue is the amount received from sale of goods and services. Okay, total amount received. Whereas expenses we have just seen the cost incurred on such uh, to earn that revenue. Okay, so that is our income. When we talk about the profit, profit is yearly profit. Profit equals to total revenue. It is just revenue. It is total revenue. It is expenses, whereas it is total expenses. So we can say that profit equals to total revenue minus total expenses. It is recurring in nature. Okay. Year by year, generally we receive the profits. It may be sometime loss, but we start the business for earning the profits. We don't assume for losses. That's why it can be said that it is a recurring in nature. Next one is gain. Okay, it is the profit or benefit received on sale of assets, winning court case, etc. There may be appreciation in the asset. Appreciation means increase in the value of asset. Okay, maybe that thing also. It is incidental in nature. That means it is sudden. It depends on circumstances. That is non-recurring in nature. You should remember that. Okay. So gain and profit are seems like profit only, but this is in recurring nature. We are going to sell goods and services, where this is sell of assets. There is a difference. Please keep it in mind. Then the next one is loss. Already these terms cost and loss and profit we have already talked about in maths 7th class or 6th class. Loss is just opposite of profit. In loss, total expenses minus total revenue. When the expenses increases and the revenue is not up to the mark, we are going to incur the loss. Even depreciation, that means fall in the value of asset due to wear and tear or use. Okay, that is known as depreciation is a loss for us. Okay, loss may be of anything, yes, like loss by theft, loss by fire, etc. Okay, these things are also loss. Purchase, when goods are purchased at that time, only term purchase account is used. The term purchase we just use for, we are going to use for goods purchase. Okay, you have to remember this because the term purchase is not going for use of fixed assets. When we purchase fixed assets, it is not going to be counted in purchase. Please remember there is lots of difference between the both. The term purchase is just used for purchase of goods. Goods means that item which we are going to buy for the selling purpose only. That is for recurring sell. Okay, that means purchase is for goods only. Okay, for manufacturing concern, purchase includes purchase of raw material which we are going to convert into finished goods or semi-finished goods. Sometimes we purchase semi-finished goods for making it finished. Okay, so manufacturing person we are going to purchase two items: purchase of raw material, whereas purchase of semi-finished goods. For trading concern, trading means what? Buying finished goods for selling purpose. We are not going to manufacture anything. Okay, so in that case, purchase of finished goods will be termed in purchase. Okay, the total purchase includes cash purchase as well as credit purchase. So the sum of both the purchases is total purchase. You should remember this one. Okay, and note down that purchase of fixed asset is not considered as purchase. Please remember this thing. Okay, next one is purchase return. When purchase goods are returned to suppliers of goods due to any reason is termed as purchase return. The reason may be anything, not up to the sample. The cost written in the bill is not proper. The goods order is not same as received. Okay, or it is a defective goods. So that may be due to any reason. When the goods are returned to the supplier again, that is known as purchase return. It is also known as return outward. That means goods purchase goes out, and that's why the term outward is used with return. Okay. Net purchases equals to total purchase minus purchase return. Total purchase was, this was cash plus credit purchase. So we can say like that also. Net purchase equals to cash purchase plus credit purchase minus purchase return. Okay. The next one is sales. Same like purchase, the sales is also dealing with goods and services. So when the goods are sold to the customers for cash or credit, that is ownership is transferred. In both the cases, the ownership of goods is transferred to the buyer. Okay. In such a case, it is known as sales. Same way, the formula, you see, sales formula is also same. Total sales equals to cash sales plus credit sales. Note, sale of assets are not the part of it. As in purchase also, we are not going to take assets. In sale also, we are not going to take assets. But it includes services which leads to generate revenue. It should be kept in mind. We are dealing in goods and services. Okay. So both things will be included in sales. Okay. The next term is sales return. When the goods are returned by the customers to us for any reason, the reasons are same. It may be due to heavy price or change in the material or defective goods or late delivery. So many things are there. It is known as sales return. It also known as return inward. Okay, you have to keep in mind the goods are coming back to us, that is coming inward, and that's why it is known as return inwards. Net sales equals to total sales minus sales return. We can say like this also: cash sales plus credit sales minus sales return, because total sales means cash sales plus credit sales. Okay. Then next is stock or stocking trade. It includes unsold goods which are left with the seller at the end of the year. Okay, because generally we calculate stock at the end of the year, because regularly we are selling the goods and we are not calculating. Just after that, when we are going to close the account, we are going to calculate our stock. So it is the goods which is left with us unsold at the end of the year. It has two types. How many types? Two types. Opening stock, stock in the beginning of the year. Closing stock, stock at the end of the year. Note, closing stock of the year 2019-20 will be opening stock of 2020-21. That means what is left in 31st March will be carried forward in 1st April of that same year. Okay, that means 31st March 20, then 1st April 20. Okay, just after one day we are going to start the new year. Okay, so opening stock and closing stock of the year, previous year, will be equals to opening stock of the current year. You should remember. Is it okay? Next term is inventory. It is wider term than stock. It includes stock. In manufacturing concern, opening as well as closing inventory includes. It includes 4 items. Generally, inventory of raw material, inventory of semi-finished goods or work in progress, inventory of finished goods, and inventory of stock in trade. Okay. Important note. It is valued at cost price or realizable price, whichever is less. Just you remember this point, because we are going to have an explanation of this point in the principles when we are going to learn in the principles. This is important. Please keep in mind. It also helps us to maintain proper accounts. Okay. So please remember, it is important. Note that inventory is valued at cost price or realizable value, whichever is less. The next term is trade receivable. Trade receivable is the amount which we are going to be receivable. It is just not received from sale of goods and services. This is the total amount which we are going to receive, not received yet. That means we have not received in cash. Receivable. Okay, it includes debtors plus bills receivable. Trade receivable includes debtors plus bills receivable. Debtors means what? They are the customers to whom goods are sold on credit. That means they have not paid for the transfer of ownership. They are going to pay afterwards. That's why they are the debtors of the business. Okay, the amount will be receivable afterwards. Then next one is bills receivable. It is a negotiable instrument. It is an instrument like check. Okay. Same way, when we deal with bank, we pay check and we get the payment. Like that only, bills receivable is same like that. It is a negotiable instrument which is received from the customer as a promise to pay his dues on certain date after a certain period. Okay, that means he is going to promise us that he is going to pay after 2 months or 3 months of the specific date that we are going to have. Okay, so bills receivable is also the amount receivable. So total of both is a trade receivable. Okay, the next term is trade payables. Trade payables equals to creditors plus bills payable like debtors and bills receivable. Okay, this is just opposite of trade receivables. The term creditor, they are the supplier from whom goods are purchased on credit. Amount will be payable afterwards. Okay, we purchase goods on credit, we are going to pay afterwards. The person from whom we are going to purchase is a creditor, the goods on credit. The next one is bills payable. It is also a negotiable instrument which is submitted to the supplier as promise to pay his dues on certain date after a certain period. It is same as check. Okay, it is just opposite of bills payable. Suppose I am going to give a bill to Mr. X, then for me it is bills payable because I am giving him. For X it is bills receivable. Okay, X is a creditor for me and I am the debtor for him. You should remember this point because both are just opposite of each other. Okay, thank you. If you like the video, please subscribe it, share it and like it.